Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on my channel, where the time has come once again where we're going to be making another redstone tutorial, especially since the recent success of my last couple of redstone tutorials, which were both Tango Tek's iron farms, one from season 7 and one from season 8. So I'm super happy to be making another redstone tutorial, which is hopefully going to be liked by all of you guys over here, and it's a highly demanded redstone tutorial because today we're going to be showing you guys how to be making Tango Tek Season 8 copper farm, which has been asked by loads of you guys, and I'm really happy to be making this design in particular because no one else has made the updated version of Tango Tek's copper farm. So I'm super happy to be the first one to make this farm over here. And just like the last two, this is going to be one really big video because as you can see, this is the biggest farm that I've made a tutorial for up to date. Just like the last two, these ones are all quite big, but this one is nothing compared to those iron farms over there. When I made the tutorial for both of those were extremely big. They took about over 40 minutes each. That one was about an hour long and that one was about 50 minutes long. So you can see that this does take a lot of time, yet compared to this huge monstrosity of a build over here, that is nothing, because you can see this does take up a lot of space in width, length, and height. So it's going to take us a lot of time to build, so we might as well just dive straight into it because this is going to be one heck of a long tutorial. So I guess with all of that being said, then we might as well just jump straight into today's video. But just before we start the block for block tutorial, we might as well show you guys how this farm works over here. And the concept is pretty simple. It's just that all the redstone makes it look quite complex, but trust me, with the tutorial it's going to be very easy to build. And then I'll also show you guys the build list before we start the tutorial, so that you can get a rough idea of all the blocks that you'll be needing. And then once the video comes out, I'll also provide a world download for those of you which want to take a closer look at the farm yourselves. And I guess I could also upload a schematic file for those of you guys which use the Litematica mod, and it's a really useful mod for those of you which like building your redstone builds like this one over here, because well, I use it when I'm making my redstone builds and it can be really useful. It just saves you a bunch of time. So I can upload one of those. Just let me know in the comments below whether you like one or not, and it can be very helpful when you're building farms just like this one. But with that said, let's go ahead and show you guys how this farm works. And in reality, it's super simple, like I explained to you guys a little bit earlier. So to start with, everything begins over here at the mob farm, and this mob farm is pretty simple, and you can actually connect any mob farm up to this copper farm over here. But just to make everything a little bit easier, I've used the exact same mob farm design that Tango built in his video, and it's pretty simple, and I'll show you guys how this works over here. So once the farm turns on, all the water will be caught by those trapdoors back there, and it will leave an open area for mobs to spawn on. And when the mobs spawn on there, they'll be sorted out by this little contraption over here. So the zombies will go in this direction, and all the other mobs should be pushed out down there where they can be collected by those hoppers. All their loot can be collected there and go into some chests or a sorting system if you have one. So what will happen is the zombies will go in this direction over here, and this is because of some turtle eggs hidden behind these trapdoors. And what will happen is they'll drop down here and they'll be caught by this bubble column and make their way up this huge long tube all the way to the rest of the farm. And if we manage to leave this mob farm, I can go ahead and show the rest to you guys. So what will happen is this is the really long tube that we just saw from the inside, and this will continue all the way up to the top, making its way out of the mob farm. And once it continues all the way up to this level over here, we've got a little bit of a sorter, and this will basically sort the zombies from other mobs that may have potentially got caught in the system. So the zombies will make their way over here on top of this campfire and down into this lane over here. But let's say you had a skeleton accidentally make their way into the system. What will happen is the skeleton will get burned by this lava over here, and you can collect some of the bones and a bunch of stuff that they drop over there. And let's say a creeper makes their way in, they'll go into this top column over here, and you can also collect some of their items as well in this chest. But once the zombies start making their way down this lane over here, they will start dropping down through these trapdoors that we've got here. Not these trapdoors, these fence gates. They'll start dropping through them just like this over here with the aid of some redstone back there. They'll be pushed along this channel over here where they'll be belted by some snowballs from these snow golems over here, and they'll eventually turn into some drowned. And you may be wondering, what's the point of the snow golems if they're not doing anything and they're not the actual ones that are turning them into the drown, because that's the water? Well, the snow golems actually are taking advantage of a system, or like a mechanic rather, that causes these zombies to call in reinforcements. So what will happen is these snowballs will hit the zombie and they'll feel like they're being attacked, and what this will do is it will trigger reinforcements zombies to spawn. So they'll spawn in this huge spawning platform back here, and hopefully we can try and catch one. There you go, you can see a zombie has just spawned in and they're making their way back into the system, which basically makes the entire farm renewable. And with the help of these zombie reinforcements, the farm also becomes a lot faster, and it can double the rates if you have this reinforcement spawning platform back here rather than leaving it out. So I highly recommend that when we build the tutorial that you follow along for this part over here, because it can be super useful if you want to make a very productive copper farm. And then once the drowns reach the end of the water channel over here, they'll be caught by this lava, which will reduce their health to basically a one-hit kill if you use a sword. And once they fall into this water over here, they'll all be collected up and moved into one single area over here, where the player can just stand and swing their sword to collect all the copper they'd like in some of these chests. And of course, when you make the farm for yourselves, you can make your sorting system a lot larger. This is just temporary and is a showcase for those of you which want to take a look at how your farm might look like in the end once you've added in a few chests full of material. But you can see already, without this farm even working properly with the mob farm turned on, that this is still producing tons and tons of drowned. And within a matter of about a minute of this farm on, the drowned will actually start to pile up so much that entity climbing will begin to occur. That just shows you how powerful this farm is. And for those of you wondering, you did just hear me right. The mob farm is currently off, yet the farm is still working. And for those of you which are wondering why that is the case, that is because of the reinforcement zombies, which just proves that the entire farm is renewable. Because as you can see here, there are no zombies working their way up this tube over here, yet there are plenty of zombies still spawning in these back platforms over here, which just proves that the entire farm is renewable and sustainable, which makes this copper farm better than pretty much any other copper farm out there. And now with all of that being covered, let's go ahead and start building up today's tutorial, because we pretty much covered everything you need to know about this farm. So to start off with, let's go ahead and show you guys the copper farms build list. And here is the entire build list for the farm that we're going to be building in today's episode. And as you can see, it is pretty simple with the types of blocks we're going to be using. There's not too many types of blocks. However, it is resource intensive on the blocks that you will be using over here. For example, as you can see, we're going to need at least 3,200 slabs. You can use any slab, but for example, I've just used some polished deep slate slabs in the farm itself. And that pretty much goes for most of the blocks over here. As you can see, I've used 1,700 stone blocks, but you can pretty much use any block for that matter. So what I'll do is go ahead and go through all the blocks that you'll need for today's tutorial. And if I'm moving too fast, or if I'm just talking way too fast, go ahead, feel free to pause today's video just so that you can take a closer look at all the blocks that you're going to be requiring. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue from where we left off. So you're going to need about this many slabs, 1,700 stone blocks, 1,300 deep slate blocks, or any block for that matter. You're going to need about 1,200 glass blocks, 1,100 tinted glass blocks. You're going to need 700, pretty much, or over 600 stone buttons, or any button for that matter, over 390 trap doors. You're going to need 274 fences, or any fence. You're going to need 273 redstone dust, some cobblestone walls, spruce signs, or any sign, magma blocks, and if you just scroll down, we've also need some hoppers, slabs once again. I've just used some stone slabs this time just to differentiate the redstone. Some cobwebs, chiseled deep slate, which can also be any block. I don't know why I use chiseled deep slate, but it is what it is. We've got some repeaters, water buckets, comparators, redstone torches, chests, lava buckets, fence gates, pressure plates, and then if we work down, we've got droppers, snow, soul sand. Actually, you won't be needing the snow. That's just a product of the snow golems leaving behind a trail. But you'll need some soul sand, turtle eggs, chains, observers, sticky pistons. You might need a couple of torches for some spawn proofing or just make the farm a little bit lighter to prevent mobs from spawning. You'll need a couple levers, a block of redstone, and a campfire for that sorter you saw a bit earlier. And now that I've shown you guys the entire material list for the farm, I hope you guys aren't going to have too hard of a time looking for all those materials and rather have a nice time building the farm. But now with all of that shown to you guys, we can go ahead and start building up our farm today in our block for block tutorial. So let's go ahead and begin the building process. So to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to start pillaring up from this point over here in our little rectangle. And for those of you which are wondering what the dimensions are for the farm itself, you're going to need about 50 by 55 blocks if you're going to want to make the farm for yourself, because that's the dimension of this little rectangle that we've got here. Now once you go up from this point, what we're going to do is we're going to start pillaring up and make that little hopper collection system over there for our mob farm. So we might as well just get straight into it and start building this up without a further ado. So what you want to do is start building up from this point over here. However, since this isn't in the center of this little rectangle we've got, what I'll do is I'll quickly show you guys how to find that point. So what you want to do is count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks from the corner, and then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and the 16th block is the point you're going to start building up from. So I've just quickly removed the dirt that we've got laying around over here, and now what we're going to do is start pillaring up to get to that point where we're going to start placing all those hoppers. So from this point over here, what you're going to do is place 61 blocks going all the way up to that height over there. And I'm not going to show you guys all the 61 blocks because that's a pretty simple task. All you have to go is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all the way up to 61, which is very simple. So I'll see you guys right after I've done that. And here we have it. We've got to the top of our pillar, and as you can see in the bottom left corner, this is 61 blocks that we've placed. So we've got a pretty tall pillar. And for those of you which are wondering why we've done 61 blocks exactly, and the reason for that is when you're AFKing in the farm, you want the mob farm to run at its highest potential, which means that you want all the mobs to be spawning in this area over here, not underneath the farm like that. So when you're AFKing at the farm, if you actually notice, if we go up, these mobs will start to despawn. And to take advantage of that, we're pillaring up 61 blocks so that when you're at the AFK spot, that no mobs spawn underneath your farm, and so that you can exploit the farm and make it run as fast as possible. So that's why we're pillaring up 61 blocks exactly. And if you guys don't want to necessarily pillar up 61 blocks, I'd say you can go up to about 60 blocks at its lowest, and any point higher than that. So you can go from 60 all the way up to like 200 if you'd like to, but don't go any lower than 60 blocks because otherwise the farm isn't going to work too well. But once you get to the top of this pillar over here, what you're going to want to do is place down a hopper but facing in this direction like that. Then on either side of the hopper, what we're going to do is go out another 9 hoppers like I'm about to show you, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and do the same on the other side like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So once you've got 9 hoppers on each side, all working their way into the middle hopper just like this, what we're going to do is place a few more hoppers on both sides of these extensions, just so that you can catch all the mobs falling down from the mob farm and collect all of their loot, which makes this farm even better because not only does it work as a copper farm, but it also doubles down as a mob farm. So what you want to do is go from this point over here and go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here, and do the same for these sides from the ends. So what you want to do is replicate it there and do the same on this side, just exactly like you've done all before. And then once you've done that, you'll notice that you've got two big hopper platforms over here, which will catch all the mobs and the materials so that you can use all of the goodies for whatever purpose you'd like to. Now what you can do is go ahead and attach a little sorting system to the end of this, or just a chest or two which can gather all the materials. So just for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just attach one chest to the end of this so that you guys know where to build your sorting system if you're going to end up making one. And then once you've done that, you can remove all of these temporary blocks underneath it. Alrighty, so let's continue from where we've left off. And now that you removed all the temporary blocks, now what we're going to do is put it up once again, just a little bit further, and we're going to start making the mob farm itself and all the redstone underneath that to begin with. So you want to come up to this middle hopper over here and build up another 22 blocks. And I'm just going to quickly go ahead and do that. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, just like this. And then you're going to place two stone slabs like that and build out two slabs this way. Then go ahead and remove this stone block over here and replace it with a top slab like that. And then in this direction, you're going to go ahead and place another 8 slabs like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then from there, we're going to continue onwards and build out and construct all the redstone. But just before that, go ahead and remove all the temporary blocks once again. And then once you've got our little platform over here, what you're going to do is place out one block over here like this, then 1, 2 here, 1, 2 here, and 1, 2 here, just so that you get a little platform like this starting to form out of the edge of our little straight line. And then over here, what we're going to do is extend out 9 blocks after this point. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and do the same for both of these lengths over here. So go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and do the same for this final row. So you're just going to go ahead and match the same length as these two sides over here, and this is your redstone platform. And now the time has come where we're going to go ahead and start placing down all of our redstone wiring. And to begin with, what you want to do is grab a stone block and place one down over here on that little corner, and then go to this side and place down a stone block there. Then what you want to do is place some redstone dust just like this over here. And you want to go ahead and take your comparators on this side over here all the way to the end, except for this last block over here, where you're going to go ahead and place some redstone dust and place some redstone dust beside that as well. And then once you get to this point, you're going to grab your comparators once again, and you're going to take that all the way up to that block over there, just like I'm doing over here. Then once you've done that, you want to come over to this side over here, and everything should look like this if you've done it correctly. But now what you want to do is go to this block and place a redstone torch coming off that, 2 pieces of redstone dust like this, 1 comparator facing in this direction, and 1 comparator facing in this direction. And then in front of this comparator, you want to place another stone block just like that. And now running in this direction, what we're going to have is a bunch of repeaters, and they're all going to be left untouched except for these first 2 over here. And what we're going to do is make them the maximum amount of ticks just like this, and then leave the rest untouched. And now moving on, what you'll want to do is go ahead and grab a lever and place it over here just beside this redstone, and it should connect up very nicely like this. Then grab your redstone dust once again and place 1 piece of redstone dust coming off the back of this comparator like this. Then from over here, what we're going to do is place a redstone torch on top of this block over here. Then grab another stone block and place it to the side of that redstone torch. Then grab your slabs once again, and we're going to go out another 4 blocks in this direction, just like I'm showing you guys right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then on top of these blocks over here, what you want to do is go ahead and line the entire thing with redstone dust, just like I've done there. And then moving on, you're going to grab your stone block once again, and you're going to place the stone block on top of this redstone torch so it activates this line, as you can see, like that. And then you want to grab a redstone repeater and make it come out of this block over here, and then place some redstone dust all the way till the end of those slabs. And then finally, just before we finish off this piece of redstone, what we're going to do is place a torch over here just to make sure that no mobs spawn whatsoever. And then on this block over here, what we'll do is place a slab on top of that just to make sure no mobs spawn on top of that block either. And then finally, last but not least, grab some soul sand and place it on top of this stone block like this. And with that done now, we're not actually 100% done with our redstone, but we need to continue with the mob farm itself before we continue adding in all the redstone. Because as you can see, most of this redstone is placed on the mob farm itself, on the actual layers. And before we can continue building all of that, we need to build the actual structure of the mob farm. So let's go ahead and continue with that before we add on to our redstone line over here. Oh, and also make sure you go ahead and flick this lever on over here so that while you're constructing the farm, none of the redstone interferes. Okay, so next up, what you'll want to do is come back to our original starting slab over here, which is 2 blocks away from the end. As you can see, we've got 1, 2, and then we've got our starting slab over here. And from this redstone dust, we're going to pillar up another 7 blocks with our temporary blocks. So if you just go ahead and place 7 just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now what we're going to do is extend 2 temporary blocks from all the sides from this block over here. So you're going to go out 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, just like that. And then what you're going to do is from this block over here, you're going to extend 2 blocks on either side with your temporary blocks. And this is going to form a wheel-like shape. If you just pay attention closely, you can see you're going to get this kind of shape just like this, and you can see the corners are missing, and this is where we're going to start building up our spawning platforms for the mob farm itself. So what you want to do is place a stone block in all of these corners over here, and this is going to be the starting block for all of those platforms, which are eventually going to be 8 by 8 blocks. So let's go ahead and build those 8 by 8 spawning platforms. So from each one of these blocks over here, you're going to go out 7 in each direction because this will be the 8th block. So you're going to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in total, this should be 8 blocks long. If you just count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like that. And you're going to do the same in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's going to be 8 by 8 blocks, and you're going to fill everything in with stone like I'm just about to show you. So you're going to go up to this point and extend it out so that it matches this length, and then connect it up, and then fill the entire thing in with stone. And that should be pretty simple. As you can see here, it doesn't take a lot of time or effort. All you have to do is just one simple task, and everything is all done. And with that done, we'll have our little spawning platform over here. Now go ahead and repeat the same thing that we've done over there 3 more times for these remaining corners. And for those of you which are struggling, this is what everything should look like once you've done it correctly. And you can go ahead and pause the video, feel free to do whatever you like to, just to make sure that you've done everything correctly. So you can see from this little wheel shape that we've got over here, we've got 4 spawning platforms, and each one of them is 8 by 8 blocks long in width and length. So this is what everything should look like if you've done it correctly. And at this stage, you might as well go ahead and remove all your temporary blocks that you've placed up to this point. Moving on now, what we're going to do is go ahead and encompass all of these spawning platforms in with some blocks so that they're dark enough for mobs to spawn on. And also we're going to add in the water feature, which will flush all the mobs down to their demise down there. So to begin with, what you want to do is grab your temporary block over here and come to the outer edge of this spawning platform over here, and then place one down, and then place down a stone block like that. It doesn't really matter where you do it, but as long as you get that one stone block over the edge of your platform. Then go ahead and remove your temporary block, and then go ahead and extend all your stone blocks so they match the length of your spawning platform. And with that done, it should look exactly like this. And then go ahead and repeat that for this side and do the exact same thing like this, so that it's always on the outside of the spawning platform. And then for these sides over here, you're going to do the same thing, but make sure it's on the outside again, and then do it on this side and make sure it runs the entire length of the spawning platform. And I'm going to do it once again over here, and you can see that with them all done, it should look exactly like this. From here, what we're going to do is go ahead and place trapdoors facing towards the inside of our spawning platform. So go ahead and place them like this, facing towards the inside, so that when you open them up, they should be creating a wall between the spawning platform and this layer of blocks over here. And this is what the platform should look like with all the trapdoors in place. And then do the same for this platform over here, just like this, as you can see. And then when you go over to this side, do the exact same thing and make sure the trapdoors are facing like that. And ta-da, with all of that done, if you've done everything correctly, it should look exactly like this. So you notice how the trapdoors are in line with those blocks over there, and they are not on the edge of the platform. Same with this side over here. And this is really important because you want to hold back the water, but when these trapdoors are down, it will let the water flow off this side over here and push all the mobs to those hoppers over there, where they'll eventually die because of the fall damage. Now what you're going to do is grab some polished deep slate, and we're going to build the wall around it, which will make this area a little bit darker. So what you want to do is come to one of your spawning platforms, and to begin with, we'll start off on this side. So you're going to place some polished deep slate in an L shape like this. So you can see it goes all the way up to this part over here. And then we're going to extend this L shape all the way over to the other spawning platform, where we're going to replicate that L shape just like that. So you can see all together, it's basically making an outline of our spawning platforms. And then once you've done that on this side, go ahead and do it on the outer part of this side as well. And just to make this ever so clear, let's go ahead and show you guys how it should look like once you've done it all. So if we extend this all the way down and raise it up, it should look exactly like that. Next up, grab your blocks once again, and for the sake of the tutorial, I'm using some chisel blocks. However, when you're making the farm, go ahead and use whatever block you like. Just for the sake of the tutorial though, I've used chisel blocks because that's exactly how Tango built it over there, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and place 3 blocks like this on the ends of this shape you got over here, and do the same for all the sides like this, and go ahead and do it for the other side. There we go. And do it for this side as well. And now what we're going to do is run a line of polished deep slate behind that to hold all the water in place, and go ahead and connect both of these chiseled deep slate blocks up together. So if you pay close attention, what we're going to do is grab our blocks and build out from this block over here and build in this direction all the way up to the other block, and then repeat that for this side as well. And with that done, you should see it looks exactly like that. So it's the same on both the sides. All we're doing is basically just replicating what we've done on one side and doing it to the other. So now what we're going to do is also bring this down one block and extend it along this side as well, just to make it look nice, neat, and symmetrical. And then do the same to the other side and extend it all the way along this side up to the other end, just like that. And while we're here, we might as well go ahead and place in our tinted glass as well. So what we're going to do is come up to this open side over here and place a row of tinted glass just like this. And the special thing about tinted glass is you can still look through the glass, however it doesn't let any light through. So this is really useful for a mob farm like this if you want to take a look inside the farm without letting any light seep through. So go ahead and place your tinted glass like that, and then go ahead and do the same on this side over here. And actually, once again, if you don't want to use tinted glass, you can actually use any block you like. Just because Tango used it in his farm and I'm using it in the tutorial over here doesn't mean you have to use it. I'm just using it so that you can see all the mobs pushed around, and move around. And if you want to build it exact like Tango and me, go ahead and do the same. But you can use any block if you like, because it doesn't make a difference. All that matters is that you're keeping the light out. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue from where we left off. And next up, what you want to do is come up to this back wall over here on either side and place 2 blocks just like that, and do the same on this side as well. And this will basically hold all your water in place and make sure it doesn't escape from this side either. Then what you're going to want to do is come to this platform over here and place 1 block there and 1 block underneath that, and you're basically going to make this an entire wall and extend this up to this point over here. So go ahead and extend it all the way up to there, not the last block though, and do the same for the top layer just like that. And just like you've done to that side, do the same over here. And we're going to just replicate everything we basically do in this mob farm because it's all symmetrical and we want to make everything look nice and neat. So once you've done that to this side over here, go ahead and do the same for both of these sides over here and extend it all the way to the end except for that last block, and do the same for the top level and do the same on this side as well. And believe it or not, with all of that done there, we're pretty much almost done with the first level of our mob farm, because as you may have noticed, this mob farm comprises of 5 levels. So before we continue, let's go ahead and finish this part of the mob farm, and that includes adding in the water itself. So what you want to do is go up these trap doors, and in this little area that we've got over here, go ahead and place water and make sure they're all water source blocks. So just go ahead and place in water like this, all the way up to the end. Do the same over here, just like so. And make sure that all of them are switch blocks. And then do the same on this side to make sure that all the mobs are swept down into their death, basically. And one more thing, just before we go ahead and continue building the other 4 layers of the farm that remain, what we'll end up doing is before that, we're going to actually create the little system down here, which will catch all the zombies and take them up through the bubble fader and out of the farm. But before we move on to building that, let's go ahead and finish up this final part of the first floor, which is adding in another block higher of some chiseled deep slate over here in the corners. Just add 1 more block to all the corners over here, and then on the deep slate part, what we're going to do is place a line of redstone dust and place it all the way from one end to the other, and then do the same on this side and make sure it goes from one chisel deep slate to the other, or any block to the other block, and it should look exactly like that. And then over the tinted glass, just to make everything look nice and complete, we're going to grab our blocks and then run that all the way over the top just to make that look fully complete. And then I'm going to do the same on this side as well. And we're done. We're done with the first level pretty much. All we've got to do is go ahead and add that little system at the bottom, and then we're going to add in a redstone later, which is going to connect up to this part over here once we add in a redstone torch tower. But that's talk for a later time. Anyway, what you want to do is go ahead and place trapdoors like this on these ends and do the same on both of these ends here. Alright, so let's go ahead and start building up the little mechanism down here, which will attract all the zombies and take them up to the main part of the copper farm, which is that little segment over there. And to begin with, what we're going to need to do is build something below here to catch them and move them into the bubble vader. And this is the side which the bubble vader is going to be on, indicated by the soul sand over there. So to start off with, we're going to start building on the other side. So what you want to do is come over to this corner over here and place in 3 blocks like that. And then underneath each one of those blocks, go ahead and place another 3 blocks like I'm about to show you. So you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And then from there, go ahead and place some temporary blocks like that, and place some slabs underneath those, and then remove your temporary blocks. From here, what you're going to do is extend another couple slabs out from both sides. So you're going to place 1 slab over here and another slab right there. Then place a polished deep slate block there and 1 on this side, and then place slabs on top of both of those. Then over here, place a temporary block on both the sides, place a polished deep slate block on the ends of those, remove your temporary blocks, and then place slabs on both of those blocks just like that. And we're almost done with this part of the mechanism. All you've got left to do is go underneath this block over here and place down 2 blocks just like that there, and you're pretty much done with this side. Now what I'm going to show you is going to be a little bit complicated, but if you guys follow along properly, it should all be good. So grab your slabs once again, and from this middle slab, you're going to extend it out another 2 slabs like this. Then place a temporary block there, and then place a normal block underneath that temporary block there, and then remove your temporary block. Then what we're going to do is place a temporary block here, grab some walls. It doesn't matter what kind of wall, any kind of wall will do, but I'm using some cobblestone walls. So from that temporary block, go ahead and place some walls on either side, and then extend them out a further 2 blocks like this. Then of course go ahead and remove your temporary block as usual, and that's pretty simple. Then what you want to do is bring out 1 cobblestone wall down from this point over here, just to make sure that no water escapes from our mechanism. From that point onwards, what you'll want to do is grab your blocks once again and place them both on either side of this soul sand block over here. Then grab your walls and place a wall connecting this wall to that block just like that there. And then take a wall out from both of these sides there. And this is getting a little bit complicated, but hopefully you guys are still following me, and you can always pause or rewind the video if it's getting too complicated. Then you want to come down here to this block, and you may have noticed there's still a bit of a gap, so go ahead and place a wall there to make sure to fill that in, which will also raise the zombies and take them into the stream over here. So if you just take a little quick breather for a second and just pause where we left off, this is what everything should look like. So you've got a wall over here, you've got some slabs down here encompassed by some walls with an air gap on both of these sides, and then just a little pathway to this soul sand block with a wall on the end, and that's what everything should look like. And then continuing on from there, you want to grab your blocks once again, and you want to build up all the way to the point where you meet the farm like that. And then from these 2 brand new pillars that you just created, from the second block you want to place a block here, a temporary block, and then a block here, and then do the same on the other side just like we've done there. And then on both of these blocks, go ahead and place slabs down. And this might look a little familiar to you guys because you've done exactly what we've just done on the other side with these blocks over there, which means we're also going to put in these blocks. So go ahead and place 1 block from those slabs over there, and then bring it all the way up to meet the farm itself. And that's what everything should look like if you've done it correctly. And eventually what we're going to do is add some water in this part of the farm over here, which will carry all the zombies in one direction. But that does mean we don't want any water to escape. And you may have already noticed we've got 1 air block over here and 1 on this side, and water could leak out from both of those places. So I've got signs in my hand for a reason, and what we're going to do is place 1 down over here and do the exact same thing on this side as well, so that no water can escape. And you're going to replicate it on this side as well, and you should get it looking exactly like I've done right there. So you can see that we've got signs both on that side and on this side, so that no water can escape this part of the farm. And now we're going to do the final few steps for this part of the farm. So what you want to do is make your way down to this soul sand block over here, and we're going to grab our slabs because we're going to place 1 slab on the back of that block just like that there. Then on top of that, place a temporary block, and then place blocks all the way around that, and then go ahead and remove the middle temporary block just like this. Then go ahead and extend these blocks up 1 more time and do the same for this back block as well. And then after that, go ahead and place slabs on all 3 of those blocks like that, and then place a stone block coming out of those slabs there, so that you should still have 2 air blocks underneath that. And then go ahead and take this stone all the way up to this level so that it matches the height of all of these stone blocks as well. And eventually, once we place our water in over here, what we'll have is a bubble column. Like you all know, it's a pretty simple concept, and that's what's going to take up all our zombies and all our other mobs up to the top of the farm, But just to make sure that none of the water backflows in this part of the farm over here, we're going to place down some fence gates. So go ahead and place a temporary block over here, and then place 3 fence gates on top of that, just like this. And then remove your temporary block, and then go ahead and open all the fence gates in that direction. And we're not going to continue all the fence gates all the way up to the top. What we're going to do is, for this part of the farm, since this side is exposed, we're going to grab trapdoors and place a trapdoor on top of this fence gate like this. And then we're going to open that so that the zombies and the other mobs are enclosed inside this bubble feeder. And you're going to extend this all the way up to the current height of our stone blocks so that they're fully enclosed when they're traveling up the column itself. And with all the building for this part of the farm now complete, let's go ahead and add in the water streams. And this part is pretty simple. All you have to do is come down to this section over here and place a water bucket here and one on this side, and this will push you down this direction towards the soul sand block. Then what you want to do is, on this little corner over here, place down a water bucket there and do the same on this side, and they should all be flowing in that one direction. And then you can go ahead and start placing in the water for the bubble column, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I'm going to finish the entire tube first before I do that, just so that it's a little bit easier to follow. So as for now, I'm going to leave that part empty and I'll come back to it later. Anyway, let's go ahead and start building up the second layer of this farm. And what I'm going to do is, I'm not actually going to show you guys how to build the entirety of the second layer, nor will I do the same for the third layer or fourth layer or any layer after that point, because it's basically just a replica copy of what we've done here for the first layer. However, what I will be showing you guys is how to join them up and make them connect together nicely so that they are one entire single build. And to do that, what I'll do is I'll just show you guys where to start placing in your spawning platforms, and you can do the rest from there. So just to begin with, what I'm going to do is place another row of blocks before placing down my spawning platforms for the second layer, just to make everything a little bit more simple. So what you want to do is come to one of the sides of the farm like this over here, and you want to come beside your water streams, and you're going to start building out with your polished deep slate over the water streams like this. And then you want to connect it up all the way over to the other side like I'm doing here, and then go ahead and repeat the same thing for this side of the farm as well. So go ahead and connect this side of polished deep slate all the way up to the other side over the water stream, and it should look exactly like this. And lastly, before we go ahead and finish off and start placing down our second level of spawning platforms, what I'm going to do is place just a little bit more deep slate on top of these stone walls over here. So go over to this stone wall and place deep slate going all the way up to the end, and do the same over here. And then do the same on the other side as well. Bring some deep slate all the way up to the end, and same over here. And then for this block in the middle, go ahead and place some deep slate on top of that as well. And then over here, you want to place 2 blocks of stone and then some deep slate on top of that. And that should just make it look all nice and neat. And then for the second layer of spawning platforms, it's the exact same thing over again. You're going to start placing your spawning platforms at the level of this deep slate over here. So go ahead and place your stone block here, and go ahead and extend that out 8 blocks just like this. And you can see that you've got a nice outline to make the platform in as well. So this is going to be 8 by 8 blocks, just like that. And then if you go ahead and fill the entire thing in, that's going to be one spawning platform. Do the same for this side, that side, and that side, and that's your second layer of spawning platforms complete. And then once you've placed all the spawning platforms in, this should look a bit familiar to you guys, because like I said a few seconds earlier, this is just a carbon copy pasted on top of itself for the second, third, fourth, and fifth layer. So basically what you're going to do is just pretend like you ignore everything around this except for the spawning platforms, and just pretend like you're building the first layer all over again. So what you do is, from over here, you'd go ahead and place your stone back wall over here with your trapdoors on top of that. You're going to go ahead and place some blocks here, your tinted glass here, and it should all come back to you. And if you guys are struggling, you can even rewind the video and watch the first part of the tutorial once again just to see how I built the first level, and you'll basically just replicate that once more on top of itself for the second level, and it's really simple. So trust me guys, you've got this. And you know what? To make this ever so simpler for you guys and make it a lot clearer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the first floor on top of itself to recreate the second floor. And you're going to see it's the exact same thing built over again. So if I just press paste over here, you can see from the inside it's the exact same thing as the first floor. And if we make our way to the outside, you can see it looks identical to what we got here for the first floor. Even around the back it's the same, and on this side it's the same as well. So now that I've created the first and second layer just as you've seen there, what you're going to want to do now is build the third, fourth, and fifth layer exactly like we've done here. But there seems to be a bit of a problem. It seems like I forgot to place down a trapdoor there and there, so make sure that when you do build the layers that you are very careful of the blocks you place down, because you want to build this correctly. Because if I was going to continue on without that, the bubble column would eventually break and the water would seep out and break the farm. So you want to make sure you place all of your trapdoors down properly, make sure you place all your blocks down, and make sure that no water escapes and that the farm is built exactly as it should be. So here is what the mob farm will look like once you've added in the third layer, fourth layer, and last but not least, the fifth layer. And once you've got all of these in place, everything should be done correctly. And as you can see there, I still made a couple mistakes. So make sure you always go ahead and fix up your mistakes, because there ought to always be a couple of mistakes that you guys might have potentially made. So just go ahead and check all the layers you've constructed just to make sure that everything has been done to perfection. And once you've done all the checking and everything seems to be right, we can go ahead and continue with the rest of the farm. So for the next step, what we're going to be doing is pretty simple, and it actually doesn't require any building at all. In fact, it requires some destroying, because if you've pasted this farm multiple times on top of itself, you may have noticed that we've got way too many spawn platforms, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, and we don't actually need this 6th layer over here. Instead, what we're going to do is add a ceiling to this mob farm. So what we're going to do is destroy these platforms over here in order to make some space and add in the ceiling. And that is going to be pretty simple. It's not too hard to do. All you've got to do is remove all of this stone over here. So just remove all the stone yourself, and I'll show you guys what to do from there. And with that stone gone, make sure you go ahead and do the exact same thing for these 3 spawn platforms as well. And then what we're going to do next is remove this outline of some polished deep slate as well. We're going to remove everything on this layer except for this redstone dust here. So go ahead and remove all of this polished deep slate as well as the chiseled deep slate, just like this on this side. Do the same over here on top of the water, except for the redstone dust. Don't touch any of the redstone dust, because that's going to be the same for this level over here, just to activate these trapdoors that we've got. So go ahead and make sure you remove everything. And once you've done everything properly, this is what it should all look like. So I removed every single block on the top layer except for the redstone. And if your farm looks like this at the top, then you've done everything properly, which is always a great sign. Alrighty, so now with all of that complete and our 5 layers in place, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're pretty much ready to go ahead and cap this thing off with our ceiling. And this ceiling is going to be extremely simple. What you want to do is come to this corner over here and place a slab, and then go to this corner and place a slab, and you're going to fill everything in between with some bottom slabs, just like I'm doing here, and go ahead and do that all the way over to the other side. And the ceiling is a really crucial step, so make sure you guys nail this, because if you don't, then the mobs won't be able to spawn on the inside, because you have to make sure that all the platforms are dark enough. So if you've done everything correctly, it will look like this. So as you can see, I've joined everything up together, and you can see we've got a big basically square on the top of our farm, and it's all filled in with slabs like I showed you guys. And what you can do is to make this a little neater is on the blocks that remain untouched, go ahead and place some slabs on those on each of the corners, and that will just make this look that bit nicer. And technically, with that said, your farm is done, but we're going to need a few more things to make it function properly like the way it should do. And that is, of course, adding in those extra bits of redstone, adding in the turtle eggs, which will attract all the zombies, and the bubble column, which will lead them to the main part of the copper farm. So to begin with, what we're going to do is start work on this part of the farm over here. More specifically, the middle part where all the turtle eggs are going to be placed, where all the zombies are going to be attracted to and fall into this part over here. Because we actually need to place the turtle eggs themselves. But one thing you want to do is before you start working on this part over here is go ahead and light up your spawning platforms, because that's a really important step and making sure that no mobs creep up on you while you're building the farm itself. So make sure you've gone ahead and placed torches on every single level and that no mobs can spawn whatsoever. Now we can go ahead and begin work on this part of the farm. So first off, what we're going to do is place a few more trapdoors before we get into this section over here. So if you want to come around to this side, what you want to do is place one trapdoor in the center of these two and flick that down. And then we're going to repeat this pattern all the way up till the top. So on this level, go ahead and place two trapdoors down like this and then one in the middle. Do the same here. And then go ahead and do that twice more for these final two levels just like that. And if you've managed to complete that, you can see that you've done it 5 times. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for all the layers of the farm. Now what we're going to do is also add in a few more trapdoors on this side. So over here, you want to place down 2 trapdoors just like this. Do the same over here. Do the same over here. And once more for the final layer. And you're not going to place any down in the middle because you should already have some in the middle because of this layer of trapdoors already making their way to the top of the farm. Then next we're going to extend these walls that we've got over here all the way up to the ceiling of our farm. So grab your walls and place 3 down on top of the walls that we've got here, and then keep on doing that all the way up to the ceiling of the farm. And here it is once it's done. You can see we've got a huge wall over here made out of cobblestone walls, which is what it should look like. And now what you want to do is replicate that same thing that we made over there on this side as well. So go ahead and place 3 cobblestone walls on top of those walls over there all the way up till the ceiling here. And now that's complete. Make sure you grab your slabs, turtle eggs, and your trapdoors because we're going to construct the middle part, which is going to hold up the turtle eggs and attract in all the zombies. Alrighty, and then we're going to come to the bottom of this water stream over here, and we're going to count up these cobblestone walls in order to start placing down our slabs. So come to the bottom here and you're going to count up 3 blocks to begin with. 1, 2, 3, and then on the third one, place a top slab like that. And now we're going to count up 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then place a top slab. And then 4 blocks again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and place a top slab. And then do 4 once more, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a top slab. And then on top of all of those slabs, go ahead and place a turtle egg like I'm doing right now. And once you've got all the eggs in place, what we're going to do is add a protective layer of trapdoors over them just to make sure that no zombie can ever break the egg. So from the first egg over here, go ahead and place a trapdoor just like this. And then go ahead and place trapdoors off of that first trapdoor all the way up till the ceiling like I'm showing you guys right now. And make sure you do this all the way up to the top. And it seems like I've done that. And then once you've done that, go ahead and flick them all up like this just to make sure that the zombie can't actually land on the slab and break the egg. And then of course once you've done that to this side, make sure you do it to this side as well because you have to make sure that both sides are protected. And I'll show you guys how to do that as well. It's really simple. All you have to do is go ahead and place your trapdoor from that first egg like I've shown you guys earlier. Then go ahead and place your trapdoors all the way to the farm ceiling like we just did a few seconds ago. And then once you've got to the top like I have here, go ahead and flip them up so that none of the zombies can get to your turtle eggs. And once you've done that, it should look like this. And with this all now implemented into our farm and all the turtle eggs now in place, what we're going to do is go ahead and continue from where we left off with our redstone and connect that up to the redstone lining we've got over here so that our trapdoors will activate once we flick on that lever. So make sure you've got all your redstone equipment ready in hand for this part that we're about to build. So to start off with, what we're going to do is continue building from this area over here. And what you're going to need is a temporary block and place that on top of this piece of redstone here. Then place another temporary block coming off that, and then a slab underneath that temporary block just like this. And then from this temporary block, also go ahead and place a slab on the top part there to make it a top slab. Then go ahead and remove both those temporary blocks and then place redstone dust on both those slabs as well. Then we're going to go ahead and do that once more. So go over to this piece of redstone dust over here, place a temporary block on top of that and one to the side. Then underneath that, we're going to place a slab and one to the side of that to make that a top slab just like that. Then remove both your temporary blocks and place redstone dust on both the slabs. And then on this side over here, we're going to build out another two slabs just like this and then place redstone dust on top of those as well. And then next, go ahead and grab a stone block and we're going to place that at the end of this redstone line over here, like that. Then on top of the block, go ahead and place a redstone torch. Then on top of the redstone torch, place a block. Then redstone torch once again, block, redstone torch, and then a final block like that. So in total, you should have 3 redstone torches, but 4 blocks like this. Next, we're going to make some space for some redstone in this middle part of the farm over here, which is going to carry the current that we've got going through this line of redstone all the way up to activate the trapdoors. So what you want to do is carefully remove some blocks over here just to make enough space for the redstone dust and repeaters that are going to be fitted in this area. So what you want to do is come up to this stone block over here and break 2 deep slate blocks like this and 2 on this side. Then on this left side over here, go ahead and destroy 2 more just like that. And on this side, do the same. However, on the right side, what you're going to do is punch out an extra block over there just like that so that you can see the sky and therefore you can connect the redstone line we've got out here to this redstone torch tower. Then next, grab your redstone dust and we're going to place 1 piece of redstone dust right there to the left side of that stone block. And then coming out of that redstone dust, we're going to place 2 repeaters like this. And then set both those repeaters to the maximum tick. So go ahead and right click them 3 times each. And then on the end of those, go ahead and place another piece of redstone dust, just like that. From there, place a stone block over here. Place a redstone repeater just like that. And go ahead and set that on the maximum tick as well. Just like that. Then place a redstone dust coming off that. And then all the way up to that piece of redstone dust, go ahead and place repeaters. So you're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4 repeaters and make sure you set all of those to the maximum tick as well. And be very careful that you do this properly because you might make a mistake and accidentally press the redstone repeater 1 too many times. So go ahead and make sure you do all of those and it should look like this once you've done it properly. And here is a better view so that you guys can take a closer look at what we've done. So you can see we've got a redstone dust piece over there, 2 repeaters over here, 1 redstone dust, another repeater, redstone dust, and then 4 more repeaters facing in that direction, leading to the outside where we've got our redstone dust line. And if we actually take a look from the outside, you can see that we've done that correctly. Now what I'm going to show you guys is how you can connect this redstone line over here up to the next few layers above itself so that when you run the farm, all the trapdoors are working. However, there are actually 2 ways you can go about doing this, but I'm only going to show you guys one of them, which is a lot cheaper and less time consuming than the other way. However, what I will do is I'll explain the other way if you guys really do want to do that way as well. So the cheaper and more efficient way that I'm going to be showing to you guys is basically building some redstone torch towers on the outside, and it's going to be really cheap. It only uses about 2 redstone torches on each level, and that's about it. However, the other way that you could do, which is the way that Tango did it, is you can continue the redstone torch tower from the inside. And this is pretty simple. All you've got to do is follow my instructions from earlier and go ahead and continue building up this redstone torch tower. and then go ahead and place in all your repeaters and your redstone dust once again and connect it out to the outside part of your redstone line. And it's basically as simple as that for the second way. But what I'm going to show you guys is the first way, so let's go ahead and start building that. So just once again, the first way is a lot cheaper and more efficient than the second way. And that's the way I'm going to be showing to you guys. However, I did just explain the second way. So the choice is completely up to you on which design you want to follow. However, I highly recommend that you build the one that I'm going to show you guys right now. So to start, come to the left side of your farm over here, and what we're going to do is place a redstone torch on this block over here. So you want to place a redstone torch on the outside. Then what you want to do is place a block here on top of the redstone torch, break the block behind it, and then place a redstone torch like that. Then place a slab on top of this block over here just to ensure that no mobs spawn whatsoever. And then what you want to do is place a piece of redstone dust in place of that block there, and that will basically connect up the first line to your second line. But one thing that we're going to do is, just to make sure that the pulse reaches the end of this line, is we're going to add a repeater. And go ahead and add the repeater here, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 blocks away from that end. So that once you add in that repeater over there, you should see it lines up with the repeaters below it as well, which should make everything a bit clearer for you guys. Next up, we're basically going to repeat everything that we've just done, but this time for the second layer over there. So go on, move over to the right side of the farm and go over to this second redstone line over here. Then on this block over here, opposite the redstone dust, go ahead and place a redstone torch like this. Then on top of the redstone torch, go ahead and place a block like that. Behind the block, destroy this block over here. And on the block itself, go ahead and place a redstone torch, just like I'm going to do right now, like this. Then on top of the block, go ahead and place a slab, and then replace this block, which I'm pointing at right here, with some redstone dust. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and place a repeater down, just like we did last time. However, when it comes to placing down the repeater on this redstone line over here, instead of counting out 10 blocks like we did last time, what you can do is just go ahead and go to this redstone repeater, go straight up, and then place your redstone repeater in the exact same place. But make sure you place it in the other direction, because this time the redstone signal is running this way instead of that way. Anyway, let's just go ahead and continue with the rest of the farm, and it's the exact same thing once again. So just go over here, place a redstone torch like this, then place a block above it, break this block, place a redstone torch, and then a slab above this block over here, and then replace this chisel deep slate block over here with some redstone dust, and then go ahead and place another repeater down, this time facing in the other direction but in the same position as the repeaters below it. And at this point, you guys have probably started to notice a pattern, and what we're going to do is continue to follow along with that pattern and come over to the right side of the farm once again, because we're just going to repeat the same thing over once more. So go ahead and place a redstone torch here, a block above that, break the block behind it and place a redstone torch on the block, place a slab on top of it, and then go ahead and break this block here and place redstone dust on top of that, and then go ahead and place your final repeater in, just like this, for this side of the farm to be fully completed. And now that we've fully completed this side, let's go ahead and start working on the other side. And this side is super simple to create as well. It's pretty much the exact same thing, but I'll guide you through it anyway. So come down to our redstone over here, and to begin with, we're going to start work on this redstone line. So go to the end of this line and go ahead and place a block off this piece of redstone like this. And then on top of this block, go ahead and place a redstone torch like this. And now what we're going to do is repeat this a few more times on top of itself. So go ahead and place another block, another redstone torch, another block, a third redstone torch, another block, a fourth redstone torch, and then finally one more block like this. So that we've got 4 redstone torches, but 5 blocks, as you can see, like this. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and make some space for some redstone wiring, similar to what we did on the other side of the farm over there. So to start off with, what you want to do is count out from the back of the right side over here, and you want to leave this block. So you want to leave the first block, but then on the second block, you want to go ahead and break that. Same for the third and fourth block. and then go ahead and do the same to the left side like this, and then go ahead and destroy one more block to the right and one more to the left as well. So you should see we've got a bit of open space over here to implement our redstone wiring. But one more thing that we need to do is break this block only on the left side, just so that our redstone wiring can get out and connect up to that redstone line over there. Next, we're going to add in our redstone. So grab some redstone dust and place one piece there. Then grab some repeaters and place two facing in this direction. Then place a piece of redstone dust at the end of that. And then make sure you set all of these at the maximum tick. So go ahead and right click each one 3 times to do that. Then go ahead and place a stone block over here, right next to that redstone dust. Place a repeater going off in this direction and set this repeater to the maximum tick as well. And then out of that repeater, go ahead and place another piece of redstone dust. And then just like we did to the other side, go ahead and place in 4 repeaters like this, and then set each one to the maximum tick like I'm doing right now. And this is what it should look like on the inside, and if we take a look from the outside, you can see it's the exact same thing that we did on the other side of the farm. And once you get to this point over here, what we're going to do is go ahead and repeat what we did on the other side to this side as well, so that you can carry the current from the first redstone line to the redstone lines on the layers above. So to start off with, you guys are quite familiar with, what you want to do is come to the right side over here, opposite that side over there where we started our first redstone torch tower, and you want to go ahead and go up to this block and place a redstone torch over here. And then on top of that, place a block, break the block behind it, place another redstone torch, and then place a slab on top of the original block there. Then go ahead and break this chisel deep slate block and place a piece of redstone dust in its place. And then go ahead and place in a repeater right here, and that is 10 blocks out from that side, or in other words, it is lined up with that repeater in the layer below it. And now we're going to do that for the next layer. So go over to this line over here, place in a redstone torch on the left side of this block, place a block on top of it, destroy the block behind it, and place another redstone torch like that. Then go ahead and place a slab on top of this original block, and then place a piece of redstone dust in the place of this block over here, and then go ahead and add in your repeater like this right above that repeater over there. Then go ahead and do the same for the next layer. So go ahead and place in a redstone torch like this, a block on top of it, a redstone torch behind it, a slab above this block, and then over here we're going to replace that block there with some redstone dust, and then once again add in another repeater, and then go ahead and do that for the final layer as well, which is pretty simple. Add in another redstone torch like this, another block, break the block behind it, another redstone torch, another slab, and then break this block over here in place for a piece of redstone dust, and then once again add in a final repeater like that, and this side is completely done. And just in case you guys wanted to take a better look at what we created a few seconds ago, here we have it right in front of us. So as you can see, we've got our bottom redstone line over here, which works its way up starting from the right, then the left, then the right, and it alternates each time, working its way up to the top. And with this side now done, we're almost entirely done with our farm over here. All we have to do is just add in a couple more features, and then we're done. So let's go ahead and add in those features right now. So the first thing that we're going to add in is a barrier down here, which is going to prevent any light from entering our farm from the bottom over there. And we can take a look at what that's going to look like over here. So as you can see, it's basically just one big rectangle which prevents any light from entering from the bottom of our farm. So let's go ahead and construct that now. So go ahead and grab whatever block you're going to be using and come to the middle point of the side of your farm, which is this side over here. As you can see, we've got the middle point right in between these two spawning platforms, and you want to go to the lowest block, and underneath this block what you want to do is build down 8 more blocks. So go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and this is going to be the starting point for that huge triangle that we're going to make over there, which is going to act as the barrier to keep all the light out. So what you'll want to do is place one block here and one block on the other side, just like this, And then from this point, you want to build diagonally up until you reach the farm like that. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the other side as well. And if you've done exactly that, you'll get this shape over here. Then what you'll want to do is go ahead and fill the entire thing in with blocks just like this on both sides. And once you've filled in the shape, it'll look just like this. Now what you need to do is go ahead and replicate this once more on the other side of the farm. And here is the result. As you can see, what I've done is I've just copied what we did over there once more to this side. And you guys can always rewind the video to see how we built that barrier on that side over there so that you can construct this one. But now with both of those in place, our mob farm is pretty much done. All we've got left to do now is just to add in some water in the bubble column, which is going to transfer all the zombies up to the copper farm. And this part is super simple. All you want to do is come down to our soul sand over here, place 2 temporary blocks in those places there, and then fill the entire column in with water source blocks all the way up to the ceiling like I'm doing right now. And then once you get to the ceiling, all you have to do is go ahead and pop off this one slab at the top to make space for where your tube is eventually going to fit into the mob farm. And we're going to construct this tube here very shortly. But one thing you want to do is before we move on is to go back in your bubble column and remove these 2 temporary blocks over here. And the reason we placed those down originally was to create a backflow so that if any zombies get stuck, they'll automatically be pulled into our water stream here and moved up the bubble column. Anyway, with that done, we're all fully complete with our mob farm and we can move on to the next stage of our tutorial. So for this section, what you're going to need is some glass, and to start off with, you want to come to our hole over here and then go ahead and break these 3 slabs and replace them with glass. But don't do that for this slab over here because you'll actually be letting light into the farm. So go ahead and leave that as it is. Then what you want to do is go ahead and place a glass block on top of this slab over here, and then 3 more glass blocks on top of each of these blocks there, so that you can see that the shape of the tube is starting to emerge. And the next part is super simple. What you want to go ahead and do is repeat what we've just done over here another 52 times on top of itself until we get that large tube over there. So just to make this a bit clearer for you guys, you're going to go 1 layer like that, 2 layers like that, 3 layers like that, and you keep on doing that all the way up to 52 so that you get a huge tube like we've got over there. And what I'm going to do is continue building this tube off camera because all it is just one simple repetitive task. So you guys should easily get this. So I'll see you guys once you've all constructed the tube so that we can move on to the next part. And here we have it right in front of us. As you can see, I've gone ahead and constructed the rest of the tube. And you should notice at this point, it's quite tall, which is usually a great indicator that you've done everything correctly. And as you can see, it's gone ahead and matched the same height of the tube we've got over there. But now we want to continue from where we left off. So to start off with, what you want to do is come to this back layer of glass over here and build up another 3 blocks like I'm about to show you. So go 1, 2, 3 like this. And then go out 1 to the left on this block over here, like that. Then behind that, place a temporary block here, and go out 2 blocks like this, and place another 2 blocks on top of them. Then from this dirt block over here, go ahead and place another block like this, and place 1 more block on top of that, and then go ahead and remove your temporary block so that you have this shape over here. And then move over to the other side. And from here, you're going to go ahead and place 4 glass blocks like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 in this direction over here. And then underneath this glass block, go ahead and place another glass block like that. And from this glass block over here, go ahead and place a temporary block there. And from the left side of that block, go ahead and place 1, 2, 3 glass blocks to the side of that, so you get a bit of a wall forming over here. And then go ahead and build out 2 in this direction and place 2 glass blocks to encase the entire thing. Then fly around to the top over here and land in this position, and go ahead and place in 1 temporary block there, and then a chest in front of that like this. And then what you want to do is place a spruce sign over here and 1 on that block there. And what we're going to do is eventually put in some lava over here to kill out any excess mobs. Then what you want to do is go ahead and break this temporary block over here and replace it with the hopper leading into this chest, just like that. And then on top of the chest itself, go ahead and place 2 glass blocks so that you can fill the entire thing in. And as you can see, it's all closed off now. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and add in the lava now. So go ahead and place it in right here. And what this will do is it will sort out the skeletons later on from the zombies, and all the skeletons will be forced into this channel over here where all the loot can be collected by that chest. And now what we're going to do is swiftly move on to the next part, which is build out 3 glass blocks from this block over here. So go 1, 2, 3. And then on top of each one of these glass blocks, go ahead and place another 2 pieces of glass like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And as you can see, that's gone ahead and walled off this entire section over here. And like we've got over there, we're going to create a wall on this side as well. So place 1 temporary block over here and place 4 glass blocks coming out of it in this direction. Then place another 4 like this, and then a final row of 4 just like that. So as you can see, we basically made another wall on this side. And then from this temporary block, what you want to do is place another glass block like this. And go ahead and extend that up by another 2 so that it matches the height of everything else. And at this point, you can go ahead and remove your temporary block. And once you've done all of that, everything should look exactly like this. I know it's a bit confusing to look at and a bit of a mess, but hopefully you guys have understood it all, and you've always got the world download to look back on, and you can always rewind this video if something's confusing you. But anyway, let's move on to the next part, which is covering this thing up with some glass. So place 1 temporary block over here and place 2 glass blocks coming off in this direction. Then remove the temporary block itself and place 1 glass block here, and then extend it out another 3 glass blocks like this. 1, 2, 3. And then the last block should be left empty like this, as you may have noticed. And what we're going to do is place 2 glass blocks over here, and underneath these glass blocks over here, we're going to place another 2 like this and another 2 like that. And as you can see, we basically got a long tube starting to form again over here, and this is where the creepers will be sorted out from the zombies. Before moving on, we're going to also add in a couple of things inside our tube to make sure the mobs actually get sorted. So to start off with, place 1 sign over here and another one over there. Then on top of that, go ahead and place 1 chain there, and then extend it out another 2 chains like that. Then over here, go ahead and place in 1 sign there and another sign below it. And then what we're going to do is place a 3rd sign, but instead of doing it right below it, we're going to do it 1 to the left as well, so that it keeps all the water in place. Then next up, grab your slabs and place in 2 just like this. Then underneath that, place in a glass block, and to the left of that, place in a temporary dirt block. Then place in another glass block, another temporary block, and then 1 final glass block like that. And then on top of both of these glass blocks, go ahead and place in slabs and replace these dirt blocks over here with fence gates like we've got over there. Then go ahead and extend another 3 blocks out from that slab over there with your slabs, and underneath that final block, go ahead and place in a glass block like that. Then place in a dirt block beside that, another glass block, another dirt block, and another glass block. Then remove both your dirt blocks like this, place in slabs on top of your glass blocks like that, and then place in 2 fence gates in place of those temporary blocks. And what we're going to do is repeat this a couple more times in succession after this point over here. So like we did earlier, let's go ahead and extend this. So grab your slabs and go 1, 2, 3 like that. Place in a glass block underneath that, a dirt block, a glass block, a dirt block, and then a final glass block like that. Place in slabs on top of your glass blocks, and replace your dirt blocks with fence gates like this. And we're going to repeat this once more. So go ahead and go out 1, 2, 3 like this. Place in a glass block like that, a dirt block, and then a glass block, and then replace your temporary block with a fence gate, and make sure you go ahead and cap this off with a slab. But one thing you might have noticed is I haven't added in that extra fence gate over here, because usually, as you can see, we've done it in sets of 2. Because for the final one, we don't actually need an extra fence gate since it's going to be the final channel. So if you guys count this out, you should see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fence gates if you've done everything correctly. And next up, grab your glass blocks because what we're going to do is go ahead and build with those. And you want to come over to this block over here and start building out in this direction so that your glass line matches the length of this line we've got over here. And then once you've done that, go ahead and extend it out one more block like that. And now what we've done to this side, we're also going to repeat to the left side. So we're going to extend our glass all the way from that point over there to the end, and we're going to add one more glass block once we get there, just like that. And then in between those, we're going to place in a temporary block like that, and then in front of the temporary block, we're going to place in a glass block and remove the temporary block. And this is going to be the starting point for our wall, which will encase our zombie tube over here. And the next part is super simple as well. What you want to do is go over to the blocks you just placed with your glass, and you want to go ahead and extend everything up by another 2 blocks. So you come over to this point and you're going to place up 2 blocks like that, another 2, another 2, another 2, and you keep on doing that all the way for the entire length of this side over here. And I've gone ahead and built in the rest by myself, as you can see right in front of us. And if you've done everything correctly, it should look exactly like this. But now that we put this in place, let's go ahead and do it to the back side as well to prevent any zombies from escaping our tube, which will carry them over the copper farm. And it's the exact same thing that we did to the other side. All you have to do is go ahead and place 2 blocks over every single glass block like I'm about to show you. So you go 1 2 1 2 1 2 all the way down to the end over there. And there we have it. As you can see, it's just a replica of what we did to the front side to the back side as well. So it's as simple as that. Now we've got 2 big walls to keep all the zombies in place when they're being transported. But one thing you have to make sure you have to do is when you come down to the end over here, make sure you extend this block by 2 just to make sure that it matches the height of all the other blocks, so that when the zombies reach the end of the tube, they can't escape. And now that that's done, we're almost fully completed with the glass section of our farm, at least for this area over here. And then we can go ahead and add in our water, which will move about all the zombies in this tube over here. But before we do that, let's go ahead and add in the final pieces of glass. And to start off with, what we're going to do is add a ceiling to this tube over here. So to start with, go ahead and place a temporary block here, and place a glass block coming out of that in this direction. Then remove your temporary block, and now what we're going to do is extend this glass block all the way down to that point over there. So from this glass block over here, go ahead and extend it all the way down to the end of this tube. And then once you get to the end, make sure that you leave no airspace exposed so that you cap it all off just like that. And then last but not least, let's go ahead and add in the final glass part for this section of the farm. So what you want to do is come over to this block over here and place in 4 blocks like this, 1 2 3 4, and go ahead and place in blocks on top of those as well. Then place in 2 glass blocks over here as well. And then on this side, go ahead and place in 3 blocks coming out, and then another 3 blocks on top of that. And this is eventually going to be our creeper killing chamber for all those creepers that are going to be sorted out from our zombies. Anyway, swiftly moving on, go ahead and add in glass blocks over here like that. Place in a temporary block there, and then go ahead and add a chest in front of that. Then replace your temporary block with a hopper facing in the direction of the chest like this. And then go ahead and place in 2 glass blocks over the top of the chest, and then go ahead and place in a spruce sign over here and 1 over here. It doesn't actually matter what kind of sign. I said spruce sign because I just so happen to be using those. And then eventually we're going to add in some lava over here to kill all those creepers. And you know what, while we're at it, let's go ahead and add in our lava right now so that we don't have to worry about it later. Then let's go ahead and grab our campfire block, and what we're going to do is place it down on this exact spot over here, which will sort out our zombies from our other mobs. Then grab your signs once again, and what we're going to do is place them down in these positions like this on the block above the fence gate over here. Then do the same for these 2 spots as well, and also for the next 2 like this. However, for the final couple of spots, what we're going to do is keep this spot over here the same, so place your sign in over there. However, for this final spot, instead of placing our sign down over here, what we're going to do is place it 1 block higher, just like that, so it all looks like this. And actually, with all of that stuff now being fitted in place, all we have to do is go ahead and add in a couple more signs before we add in our water. And to start off with, go ahead and make your way to the end of our tube over here until you reach this block, which is the first block of our 4 slab segment over here, as you can see. Then you want to go 1 block further like this and place in a sign over there. Then go ahead and place in another sign 1 block up and to the right of that original sign over there. Then make your way to the next 4 block segment, which is this segment over here, and move to this block like that. Place in a sign there and 1 there, just like we did over there. And then do that finally once more on this 4 block segment. So go ahead and place in 1 sign here and 1 more sign 1 block higher and to the right of that first sign, like that. And with that all done, we can go ahead and place in all of our water. So to start off with our water placement, what we're going to do is place water in this tube over here, which will carry all of our mobs up to the copper farm itself, which was our bubble baiter like we talked about a bit earlier. So to start off with, all you have to do is go ahead and fill this entire tube in with water source blocks all the way up to this point over here. So go ahead and do that by yourselves, because this is a pretty simple task. And if you guys don't have enough water buckets to go ahead and fill the entire thing in with source blocks, you can always use the kelp trick, which is super simple. And moving on, go ahead and place in 3 glass blocks like that in those positions there, so that we fill in that hole that we once had. Then place in 1 water bucket over there on top of our water stream, so that our water flows in this direction. Then place in 1 water bucket above our campfire over here on that block there, so that we are pushed down in this direction. Place in 1 water bucket there and 1 more on top of it, so that our water stream flows down over here for our creepers to get killed. Then underneath that, place in 1 water bucket over here on that block, so that our zombies are moved along over here. Place in 1 water bucket above this sign on that block there. Do the same for this block as well, and the same for this block over here, just so that our water runs all the way towards the end, so that all of our blocks are covered in with water, so that all our mobs can be sorted out properly. Anyway, swiftly moving on before this video gets unbearably long, what you want to do is grab some blocks and move to the back side of our tube over here, and then go ahead and place in 1 block behind every single fence gate that we've got over here, which does mean that you're going to leave this last section over here without a block, because there is no fence gate present. And then what we're going to do is join them up with some tinted glass later on. And actually, never mind what I say, we can go ahead and place in the tinted glass now, because I already have it in hand and it'll just make stuff a lot easier, especially since we're already building in this area. So to start off with, place some tinted glass in these positions here and build out in this direction, just like I'm doing right now. And if I'm going too fast, you can always go ahead and pause the video or rewind it just to see where I'm placing my blocks. But then go ahead and place them in these positions, and once you've done that, everything should look exactly like this if you've done it correctly. And once you have these blocks in place, go ahead and grab your normal blocks once again, and what we're going to do is place another row of normal blocks underneath the blocks that we've just placed. So go ahead and place 1 normal block here, and go ahead and extend it all the way down to that last tinted block that we have on the other side, like that. And what we're going to do is continue building this down until it eventually forms a wall with some doors in it to make way for some zombies. So after you've got this shape in front of you, what you want to do is come down to your left end over here and place down 1, 2, 3 blocks like that. And then skip a block, place 1, 2, 3 like this. And then skip this block and place 1, 2, 3 like that again. Then go ahead and place 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 like this, so that you have 4 blocks in the middle. Then skip this block over here, place down 1, 2, 3, skip this block, place down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then once again, skip this block, place down another 3 blocks, skip this block, and place down another 3 blocks, and we're going to repeat this all the way up to this point, so that we have a gap of 4 once again. And then we're going to skip this block, place down 1, 2, 3, skip this block, and place down 1, 2, 3, so that right in front of us we should have a wall looking like this with some gaps to make way for the doors that are going to allow the zombies to move into the next part of the farm. And for those of you guys which are confused why we need doorways even though we've already got our tube up there, well, if you look back at our farm that we built and showed off to you guys earlier in the episode, well, we've got a huge reinforcement spawning platform over there for our spare zombies. So when those guys spawn in, they need to work their way into the copper farm without getting through that tube over there. So over here we've got some doors which should just easily allow them to pass through into the copper farm. But anyway, moving on, grab your slabs, and what we're going to do is place them down like this in each one of the entryways, which just basically gives them an extra step to make the movement process a little bit easier. And then next, go ahead and grab some signs and place them down exactly like I'm doing over here for each one of the entryways. And this is basically just going to prevent any water from spilling out of the farm back into our reinforcement spawning platforms. And once you do that, it should look like that. And with that covered, now move over to the other side because we don't really need to focus on that side as of now. And then go over to your doorways and you want to grab your normal blocks and place down 3 blocks like this. And then go ahead and place another 3 in front of those so that you make a 3x2 platform like we've got here. And then underneath that, go ahead and place down 2 blocks in the corners like that. And then go ahead and repeat that for all of the doorways like I'm doing here. And then once you do that for all the doorways, you should see that they should all look exactly the same. And once you've done that, that is a great sign for us to move on. Now grab your tinted glass, and now what we're going to do is place down some glass as some borders. So go ahead and place in some tinted glass like this over here. Place in some tinted glass in the middle, and then go ahead and place in some tinted glass like that. So as you can see, it acts as some borders for the outside and the middle between each doorway. And then go ahead and repeat that for all the platforms as well. And it's basically just a simple step that you have to make sure that you do properly. Otherwise, zombies can't escape from your farm, and you wouldn't want that happening because that can definitely reduce your rates. And then once you've done that, we should see it looks like that. So now that we've got all our borders in place, all our barriers in place, the zombies shouldn't be able to escape. After that, I'm grabbing in some normal glass and placing 2 blocks down like this, then 4 blocks like that, another 4 blocks, and then another 4 blocks like that. And then on this end, we're also going to place down another 2 blocks like we had on that end over there. Then come to the top over here and place down 3 blocks like this, sort of in an upside down L shape. Over here, we only have to place 2 blocks. Same for this one, and keep on doing this all the way down to the end like we've got over here, up to this block there. And then everything should be uniformed and in its correct place. Next up, grab your slabs and come to the middle tinted glass block over here, and you're going to build out 8 blocks like I'm going to show you right now. So go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 like that. And then on both sides of the slabs, go ahead and place in a row of temporary blocks like this, and go ahead and do it to the other side as well. And then on the sides of both the temporary blocks like this, what we're going to do is place down 1 2 3 4 5 6 slabs like that, then a block, and then another slab. And we're going to do the same to this side as well. So you're going to place down 1 2 3 4 5 6 slabs, a block, and then another slab, and then go ahead and remove all your temporary blocks. Then next up, grab some signs, and we're going to place down 7 signs from this tinted glass block over here. So go ahead and place in 1 sign there, another sign off of that, so that's 2 signs, 3 signs, 4 signs, 5, 6, and 7 like that. So it should look exactly like that. And then from there, what we're going to do is place down signs all across this side of the slabs over here up to this block like that. And then go ahead and do the same to this side so it matches the other side like we have over there. So go ahead and bring that up all the way up to that block over there, and it should look like this. After that, grab some more temporary blocks, and this time grab some normal blocks. And what we're going to do is come to this corner over here and place down 1 temporary block here, and then build out 6 blocks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then remove your temporary block like that, and then go to the other side and do the same. So place down a temporary block here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then remove your temporary block so that you have 2 platforms like that now on the sides of your slabs over here. And moving on, what you want to do is grab some trapdoors, and to start off with, what we're going to do is come to this row of slabs over here and start placing them down. But first of all, place down 1 trapdoor over here and do the same on this side as well. Then go ahead and place in trapdoors like this all the way down to this trapdoor over here like that. And then go ahead and flip all of these up like this, except for this one on the block over here, and then do the same to this side so that it's exactly the same and symmetrical. So go ahead and place them all the way down to the end like this, and then make sure you go ahead and flip them up so it matches that side. And just like we placed our trapdoors down over there, we're going to place down some trapdoors over here on these platforms as well to act as dividers between the snow golems that are going to shoot our zombies. So go ahead and place down a trapdoor here, 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 and here. And notice how I didn't place down a trapdoor over there. That's because if you place one down there, basically we don't need it because there's not going to be any more snow golems to the side. And then once you placed all of those down, go ahead and flip them up like this. So as you can see, they're acting as barriers on the blocks to prevent any of the snow golems escaping their cell. And then do the same on this side over here. So skip your block, place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trapdoors like that, and then go ahead and flip them up so that it matches that side over there, so that everything is symmetrical once again. After you've placed down your trapdoors, what you're going to need is some stone walls, some cobblestone walls, or any stone wall for that matter, as long as it is a wall, and then some cobwebs. And what we're going to do is come down to our 2 corner blocks over here underneath our platform and place down 7 stone walls coming out of them in this direction. So go ahead and place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that, and do the same on this side to make it the exact same thing that we've got over there. So you placed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that. However, for the cobwebs, instead of placing down 7 cobwebs, what we're going to do is place down 6. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cobwebs on top of them. And this is basically going to slow down the zombies when they're passing through the water streams so that the snowmen have enough time to shoot them. So make sure you place down 7 walls like that, and then 6 cobwebs on top of them all the way up to the second last block. Now the next step is actually super simple, but it may be initially hard to understand and perhaps follow through on. Notice how we've built one of these platforms over here for our snow golems and our zombies to turn into drowns for one of the 4 platforms over here. So we've only built this for these 2 doorways and not the other ones over there. What we need to now do is go ahead and replicate this onto these 3 platforms as well, so that it is present all across our farm like we have over there. So now all you have to do is go back and rewind the video and copy everything we did to bring this over here on these 3 platforms. And hopefully that was simple enough for you guys to understand. I know I probably made it sound really complicated, but it's not that complicated, and it should be easy enough for you guys to follow through on. So with that being said, I'll see you guys all after you've built those platforms in front of our doorways over here. And here it is in front of us. As you can see, I've gone ahead and built it by myself off camera, and it should look exactly like this. So now that we've added in all the features, including our platforms over here, our walls, and our cobwebs, we're now ready to move on to the next step. But one thing we want to do is, just before we move on, is go ahead and add a couple of borders to both of these sides over here on the outside, just to make sure that none of our snow golems can fall off out of our farm and perhaps potentially die, because as you can see here in the middle, they're completely safe. They don't need no borders or nothing. Over here though, they can fall off. So what we're going to do is place in some blocks, and what we're going to do is place down a temporary block here and build all the way out to that point there. Then remove our temporary block, go over to this side, place it in a temporary block, build out all the way to that point there, remove this block, and all should be good. Once you've done that, now we're going to start building up the glass casing, which is going to completely encase our farm over here just to make sure that everything is covered. And to start off with, you want to come over to this left corner over here and place down 2 blocks like this and another 2 blocks on top of that. Then you want to come to this middle segment over here and place down 1 2 and 1 2 like that. And then you're going to place down 1 2 like this and 1 2 like that. And we're going to continue doing that for these sides over here. So place down 1 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4 like that. Do the same over here. So 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and then for this one, like we did to the other side over there, we're only going to place down 1 2 and 1 2 like that, so that we have some blocks over here in the middle just to prevent any mobs from falling out from there or from the side over here. And we can also use those as support blocks for some signs that we're later going to add in. After that, we're going to place down some glass blocks on top of these slabs. So place down 1 glass block over here and 1 over here. Do the same as well on this side, and continue doing that all the way towards the end like that. And these will be the blocks that will hold up our signs like I just mentioned. And then go ahead and place 1 block here and go to the other side and place 1 block there, and then go ahead and join them up with our glass blocks like this, which is going to act as a barrier just to make sure that our zombies don't continue any further past this point over here. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and extend that 1 block lower so that it matches the height of the rest of our glass blocks like we have over here. So go ahead and just replicate that, place 1 block over here and place 1 block here and match them up together with your glass blocks like this there, so that now we have a much larger wall. And we might as well go ahead and place in some glass blocks on the sides as well. So on top of these blocks over here, place in glass blocks like that, and do the same to this side over here. Place in 1 2 3 4 5 6 glass blocks on both of the sides. Now that this is looking all nice, neat, and symmetrical, we can go ahead and continue building it down so that it makes a nice large catchment area for all of our drowned. And to start off with, what you want to do is build down 1 2 3 4 blocks from that corner over there with your glass, and do the same on this side, 1 2 3 4. And this should look quite familiar to you guys, because what we're going to do is join up each side to the other side. So of course, go ahead and place in all of your glass in between those 2 points over there, so that you get a large wall that looks just like that right in front of us. And with that wall in place, if you count it out, it should be 1 2 3 4 5 6 blocks tall, just to make it ever so clear for those of you guys which may be a little bit stuck. Anyway, after that, we're not going to continue with a glass casing just yet. Instead, we're going to take a little bit of a break and add in some more stuff, which is going to be a magma floor like we have over there, and add in some more signs. And to start off with, what you want to do is place in 1 sign over here and 1 sign like that. Then do the same for both of these sides. So place in 1 sign there and 1 sign like that. Do the same here, 1 sign there and 1 sign there. And finally do it once more like that, so that all your signs are in place like we've got over here. And then actually next up, move around to this side of the farm over here and skip a block and place in 1 sign there, and do the same over here as well. And then do it for all the other platforms like this. So place in some signs down there, do the same here as well. So place in a sign there and 1 there, and make sure you're skipping that block there and leaving a gap, because eventually we're going to add in some lava there to take some health off of our drowned. And once you've added in those final 2 pieces of signs there, what we can do is grab some lava buckets and start placing those in. So now that I've grabbed the lava bucket, as you can see in my hand over here, what you want to do is place down lava like this on top of those bottom signs, so that they're completely encased by the signs, so that they can't overflow or like spill out in any direction. And do that for all the platforms like we have over here, just to make sure that every single platform has a spot where the drowned can take damage like that. And basically what that will do is just make sure that once the drowns are going through the system, they take enough damage to the point where when they're in the killing chamber, you can just hit them once with your sword and they should be dead. Next up, grab your magma blocks, because what we're going to do is make a magma block platform underneath our chambers here. So go ahead and grab the blocks that you're going to need, and we can go ahead and start creating that. So to begin with, place down one magma block underneath that wall over there on this side of the farm, and then extend out one block in this direction like that. And then from here, we're going to extend it all the way over towards the other end of our chambers right there. And then we're going to extend it out another block like that, similar to what we did on that side over there. Then what we're going to do is from this point over here is build out another 5 blocks in this direction. So this is one over here, and we're going to go 1 2 3 4 5. So in total that should be 6 blocks long, and we're going to repeat that on this side as well. So we're going to go 1 2 3 4 5, and then we're going to join them up together like this with our magma blocks. And then once you've joined them up together like that, you're going to go ahead and fill the entire thing in with magma blocks in the middle. And once you've gone ahead and filled in the entire platform, you should have something that looks exactly like this. So now, as you can see, we've got a very wide, large platform over here filled all the way in with our magma blocks. Now with that done, let's move on to the next part, which is going to be super simple. So what we're going to do is grab some glass blocks and come to this side over here, where we're going to place down 4 glass blocks like this. So as you can see, we placed 1 2 3 4 down there, and we're also going to place down 4 glass blocks from that block there, so that it matches the height of this wall. Then we're going to move over to the other side and do the exact same thing here. So we're going to place down 1 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4, and now everything should be in line, which makes this a lot easier. Next up, what you want to do is find the middle point of your wall and place down 2 glass blocks like that, which are both going to be the middle point, because as you can see over here, this wall is actually an even number, so your middle point has to be 2 blocks. And if you count it out properly, or if you just look where the middle point is, it's going to be this area over here. And then once you place down those 2 blocks, what you're going to do is place down 1 2 3 4 in this direction and 1 2 3 4 in that direction there. Then you're going to move to the other side of your wall over here and place down 1 temporary block here and 1 on this side. Then you're going to bring glass out of that temporary block all the way up to that corner over there, and then do the same on this side as well, just like that there. Then you can remove your temporary blocks like this, and we're going to double this up on this side over here. So make sure you extend each one out 1 block in this direction. So go 1 1 1 1 all the way over like that, and do the same over here and extend it all 1 block like that, so that it's a little bit larger to catch all of our drowned. Then next, place in a temporary block over here and a glass block underneath that. Then double that up like this, and then go ahead and bring it over all the way to the other side like I'm doing right now, just to make it a lot larger to catch all of our drowns like I was saying. And now what we're going to do is place down some water on top of these glass blocks over here to catch our drowned and make sure they don't take any fall damage. And that water stream will also lead them into one single killing chamber down here. But just before we do that, we need to also make sure that our glass is also covering this side over here, just to make sure that no water leaks out and potentially destroys anything. So what you want to do is place down 1 glass block underneath that magma block over there and extend it all the way over to the other corner of our magma block platform like that there. And then as you can see, we still got a bit of a gap over here, so go ahead and fill that in with some glass blocks underneath the layer that we just placed down right now, so that it looks just like that. Then go ahead and grab some water, and what you want to do is make your way inside this section of the farm over here. And what we're going to do is place down 2 water buckets over here and do the same on the other side like that, so that they're flowing in the direction of the middle like this. Then you're going to place down 1 water bucket here, but not one beside that, so that the water is actually flowing towards the middle. And we're going to do the same on the other side like this, so that when they converge, they actually flow down into one point like that rather than 2 points. And this will make it a little bit easier to make our killing chamber. Then let's go ahead and construct the killing chamber. So to start off with, as you can see, the water is converging into one point between these two blocks, like I had previously mentioned. And what we want to do is build our killing chamber in between those, but we need to temporarily block out the water. So place down 2 temporary blocks here and 2 on this side like that. Then remove these glass blocks like that and place down 2 glass blocks here. Then place down 2 normal blocks underneath those. And what we're going to do is place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 normal blocks like that, and do the same here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. And then what we're going to do is place down 2 temporary blocks here and 2 hoppers facing into those, and then go ahead and remove your temporary blocks. Then what we're going to do is place down 1, 2, 3 normal blocks here and 1, 2, 3 over here, underneath which we're going to place down slabs like that and join them up together so that they are connected. And then in between here, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 glass blocks, just so that we have our killing chamber design properly made and so that no zombies can escape from this side over here. Then place in a couple trapdoors like this and flick them up like that. Place in a couple torches as well and a double chest behind those hoppers over there so that all of the drowned's loot is collected, including the copper. Now what you can also do is build a much larger collecting and sorting system. However, for the sake of the tutorial, I'm not going to do that because otherwise it'd be way too long. Then next up, we're going to build a platform so that you can stand on while you're killing our drowned. And this is super easy. All you have to do is place down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks like that and extend them in this direction for as many blocks as you like to, because technically the platform could be as big as you like. But just for this instance over here, I'm going to extend them out 4 blocks. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can even add walls around this just to make it a little bit more secure. And technically with that, our killing chamber is now complete. But one thing you have to make sure you do is come into our farm over here and place down 2 signs, one over here and one over here, to prevent the water from actually falling into our killing chamber itself. Then go ahead and remove these temporary blocks that we placed down, and as you can see, now the water is leading into the killing chamber and all of our zombies and drowned will fall into this position here, and you can go ahead and swing your sword and hit their legs and kill them, at which point you can collect their copper. Now with that being done, we can move on to the next part, which is placing in a couple more blocks over here, then adding in the snow golems and capping this entire place off with a glass roof. Next, we're going to place down some signs. So come to our tinted glass over here and place down 1 sign on this side of the tinted glass and 1 on this side. Then move along and place down 1 sign over here and 1 sign on this side. Do the same here again and place down 2 signs and place in another 2 signs here as well on the end, so that all of our chambers now have these additional signs, which is going to prevent any backflow of water. Speaking of which, grab some water buckets and place down 1 source block here and 1 here as well. Move along and do the same for both of these doorways, the same for these ones, and continue it down the line as well. So place down 1 source block here and 1 source block here, so that this creates streams in order to push the zombies along. Next, place a source block on this block over here, not on the sign but rather on the tinted glass, and just right click like this so that the water flows down both these channels in that direction. Then move over to the next chamber and do it over here as well. Place down a water source block like that, and as you can see, the water will start to flow. Do the same over here for these channels and do the same for this final group of channels like this. And as you can see, now the water is now flowing all the way over to the ends so that the zombies can be moved all the way along over and be converted into drowns when they're stuck in that water. After that, go ahead and grab your glass blocks once again and place down 1 glass block on top of this trapdoor over here and 1 on top of this trapdoor. Then go ahead and join them together and then place an extra 3 glass blocks in the middle like that, and then go ahead and repeat that over here as well, and continue this down the line. Do it for this chamber over here, and do it for this set of platforms as well. So as you can see, we're basically starting to create a glass lid over our platforms over here, so that once we add in our snow golems, they are protected and they can't get killed by any potential external factors. Then next, go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 glass blocks there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here as well. And then go ahead and do the same down the line like we did for basically the last couple of tasks. So go ahead, place down 6 here. Thicken that once more and do it for a third time. And then go ahead and repeat that for these two set of platforms as well. And once you've done that, the farm should look exactly like this. As you can see, we've created what we did over here to those two platforms as well, so that the water channels are now covered. But before we go ahead and protect the rest of what we've got over here, we need to go ahead and add in our snow golems and create a couple more dividers. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, these middle sections over here are not divided up, so that when we add in our snow golems, they might actually shoot across each other's platforms. And of course, we don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do is add in our dividers to make sure that they're split apart. So to do that, what you want to do is come to this middle section over here and place down a row of temporary blocks like this all the way down to the end, and place trapdoors off of them like we've got here. Then remove your temporary blocks and then flip up your trapdoors so that we create an additional divider, so that once we add in our snow golems, they can be put in their correct positions. Now do what we did over here to these two spaces as well, just so that we have dividers all across the farm. And it's the exact same thing as we did back there, so go ahead and add in a row of temporary blocks like this. Place in your trapdoors like we've got here. Remove your temporary blocks and flip up your trapdoors so that we've got our dividers, and the same goes for this area over here. Place in your temporary blocks, add in your trapdoors like this, remove your temporary blocks, and then once again flip up your trapdoors so that we create those dividers. And with that done, we're ready to go ahead and start adding in all of our snow golems. Now when it comes to adding in your snow golems, there's two ways you can go about doing this. You can either spawn them in using the snow blocks and the carved pumpkin block that we've got in my inventory, or you can use the /summon command, and that's pretty easy for those of you guys which are in creative. However, for those of you which are in survival, this might be a bit tricky, because what we need to do is move the snow golem into their place really quickly and then cover them up with some glass so that they don't escape their cubby holes over here, or rather their little chambers. So what we need to do is, just to put this into perspective for you guys, is I'll make a snow golem and I'll show you guys how you will push it into your farm if you're playing in survival. So let's say you're playing in survival. What you'll need to do is place down a couple snow blocks here and then a carved pumpkin on top to make your snow golem. And as you can see, they don't quite fit into their space. So what you're going to need to do is push them along into their space like this. And hopefully if you do it correctly, he will go in without too much of a hassle, like that. And then before he moves, what you're going to need to do is place down 2 pieces of glass like this. And as you can see, now he's locked in position and cannot move anywhere else. And you're going to have to continue doing that for every single slot over here so that it can be occupied by the snow golems. And I know that can be a little bit trickier to do if you're in survival. However, you can just make some temporary barriers like this and block them off from escaping, and then go ahead and add in your snow golems like this, and they should just drop down relatively into the right place. And then you just got to push them around a little bit so that they snugly fit in, and then you can go ahead and add in your glass and just continue doing that for all of the spaces. If you're in creative though, you can just quickly do the /summon command. So if we do the /summon snow golem, we can just do that. You can see they're already in the right position and we can cover them up. And with that now being shown to you guys, continue placing in your snow golems for all of the places over here. So make sure you place down all your snow golems on both sides in these middle sections. And when it comes to the corners over here, or rather the sides, all you need to do is place down one set of snow golems, because as you can see, we're not continuing any further out from this point, so you only have to place down one set. And make sure that you do it for all the positions so that you can make the farm as effective as possible. And when you're doing them, make sure you don't forget to go ahead and cover them up with the glass so that they can't escape, because the last thing you'd want happening is for you to place down a snow golem and for them to jump out while you're placing down other snow golems. So like I told you, once they're in the correct place, go ahead and place down 2 pieces of glass so that they're locked in their position and can't move about. And now what I'm going to do is place down all the remaining snow golems off camera, and I'll see you guys once I've done that, because all it is just one simple repetitive task. So I'll see you guys once I've placed in all the snow golems. And there we have it, all the snow golems are now in place, and unbelievably we're actually done with this section of the farm. As you can see over there, it is identical to what we've got over here. Now what we have left to create is this large platform back here, which is used for the reinforcement spawning, and a bit of redstone up top. And technically, you guys could also create this thing over here, which is a water stream that Tango decided to come up with, which basically distributes the zombies a little bit better in the farm. However, this thing is completely optional and it's not 100% effective. So that's why in today's tutorial, I'm not going to be showing you guys how to build it. However, if you do want to build it, you can just use the world download file, which will have this present, or you can alternatively use the schematica file, which I'll share with you guys. Anyway, before we get way too distracted and lose track of ourselves, let's go ahead and continue building our farm. So what you're going to need is some tinted glass, some fences, some buttons, and some slabs. And let's go ahead and start creating that over here. So first of all, go ahead and place down one temporary block here and a slab underneath that. Then go ahead and remove your temporary block and go to the other side and do the same. So place down one temporary block, a slab underneath it, and then remove your temporary block. Then go ahead and join the two together with some slabs in between, and this is going to be the start of our spawning platform for all of our reinforcement zombies. But notice how we've only built this one out in this direction. Now what we need to do is build this out another 36 times so that it's 37 blocks long in total. So what you're going to do is build out 36 blocks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, just like that. And as you can see, that is pretty big. But now what you want to do is go ahead and fill the entire thing in with your slabs so that you create a large platform. So next up, grab some fences and come to this end of our platform over here. And then from this corner, what we're going to do is leave this block and then place down a fence here. Skip this block and place a fence here. And then we're going to skip 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then place a fence on the 5th block like that. So that we have 4 blocks in between these two fences like that. Then we're going to skip a block and place a fence. And then we're going to do the same thing we did here. We're going to skip 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and place a fence on the 5th block like that. Skip a block and then place a fence once more. And as you can see, we're starting to follow a pattern, and we're going to continue following that pattern all the way over to that end there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, place a block here, skip this block, and then place another fence like that. So the end of your platform should look like this. And then what we're going to do is move to the other side of the platform over here. And what we're going to do is place down one fence over here, 1 block away from this doorway. Then we're going to skip this block and place down a fence here. And you're starting to notice we're basically replicating what we did to that side. So go 1, 2, 3, 4 and place a fence here. Skip this block, place a fence. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place a fence here. Skip this, place a fence. Then go 1, 2, 3, 4. Place a fence, skip this block, and then place a fence. And as you can see, if you've done everything correctly, they should line up with the fences down on the other side. Next, what we're going to do is join up the fence that we've got down there at the end of the platform all the way over to the fences down here that are in line with them. And we're going to do that for every single fence on that side over there. And once you do that, it should look exactly like what we've got here. So as you can see, all the fences are now joined up and everything should look like this. And of course, if you're playing in survival, you'll end up placing all your fences in manually. So go ahead and do that by yourselves, but just to save a bunch of time, I've used the command for that sake. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and place in some buttons, but for those of you which are going to be placing in those fences manually, just in case you want to take a better look at how it should look like once everything is done, what you can do is pause the video right now and take a look at the screen, and what you should see is how all the fences should be laid out if you place them in correctly. Anyway, moving on, now grab your stone buttons over here, or any button for that matter, and what we're going to do is go ahead and place down a button for every single air block above each slab over here on this humongous platform, so that it looks like that platform we've got in there. So as you can see, each and every single block has a button on top of it, and what we're going to do is replicate that over here as well. So on every single block, what we're going to do is place down a button like this so that every single block is covered. And the reason we're doing this is for the reinforcements spawning. What we want is only reinforcement spawning, not any additional mobs. And the reason that we're doing this is because they only spawn on the side of blocks, not in the center of blocks like normal mobs. So what you want to do is continue placing down the buttons all the way on every single block until the entire platform is covered in with buttons. And if you continue to place down all the buttons on all the remaining blocks available, then you should get an outcome that looks just like what we've got here. So as you can see, every single block is now covered in with our buttons, which makes this platform suitable for our reinforcement zombies to spawn on. And if you've done that for every single block, then we're ready to go ahead and move on. But for those of you guys which are still building this, what you can do is once again pause the video if you'd like to, just to see how the platform should look like if you're going to do everything like I did. So yeah, just once more, make sure you go ahead and place your buttons on every single spot that remains available on your platform, just to make that ever so clear. But now what you want to do is grab some tinted glass, and what we're going to do is create a 4-block tall wall around our platform to prevent any light from entering in so that our zombies can spawn in effectively. And what we're going to do is build that all the way around our platform over here right now, and this is pretty easy to do, so let's go ahead and construct that now. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and place one tinted glass block off this stone button over here in this corner and bring it all the way down till the end of the platform. And this may take a little bit of time because the platform is extremely big, but once you reach the end over here and it matches the same length of the platform, go ahead and place one dirt block at the end of that, and then place in a tinted glass block coming off in this direction. Then remove your temporary block and extend your tinted glass once again to the end of the platform widthwise. Then once you do that, go ahead and place in your dirt block again, your temporary block over there, place in one tinted glass block like that, remove your temporary block, and now go ahead and extend your tinted glass now in this direction all the way up to the point where it attaches back to the farm like that. So as you can see, now we've got the outline for where our walls should be constructed. And now all you want to do is go ahead and repeat that 3 more times on top of itself so that we get a 4-block high wall like we've got over there. So all you want to do is continue placing down your tinted glass on top of the tinted glass we placed down earlier until it forms a 4-block wall all the way around our platform like this with your tinted glass. And make sure that every single piece of tinted glass does that so that it looks just like this, what we've got here. And hopefully that was simple enough for you guys to understand, and if not, you could always rewind the video, see what we did once more, or you can even use the world download to help you guys. And actually what I'm also going to do is fill in these corners over here with some tinted glass, just so that the farm looks that bit nicer around the edges. However, you don't necessarily need to do this because it is just going to end up costing you extra resources and it makes no difference to the farm's performance whatsoever. Now let's go ahead and grab our slabs and start constructing the roof that's going to sit on top of this platform. So in order for us to construct this roof, what you want to do is place down a slab over here and bring it all the way across to the other wall that we've got made out of tinted glass, like that there. And now what we're going to do is extend this another 36 times like we did for the base of our platform, but instead for our ceiling slash roof. And we're going to bring that all the way over to this point over here so that it covers the entirety of our platform and make sure that everything is in darkness. So basically what we did over here, we're going to repeat a few more times. So we're going to place down one slab and bring it across. And then we're going to connect that up to that side over there, place down another slab and connect it across, and keep on doing that all the way down till the end over there until everything is fully covered. And once you go ahead and do that, your farm should look exactly like this, what we've got here. So as you can see now, our slabs cover the entire length of our platform, so that when you take a look inside our farm over here through our tinted glass, you can see every part of the platform is now covered in darkness, making it properly created for our zombies to spawn on. So make sure that when you build the roof yourself, that every single place is covered so that no light can potentially enter the farm. Now with this complete, we can go ahead and start building the redstone that's going to sit on top of this, which will also control the fence gates over there, which will sort our zombies properly. So to start with, come to this fence gate over here, 2 away from those ones at the end. Then what you want to do is break the slab over here and lower it by 1 slab, like that. Then go ahead and place 1 piece of redstone dust down on top of that slab and a block above that. On top of the block, go ahead and place in a slab to mob proof it. And then behind this redstone like this, what we're going to do is replace these slabs over here with a full block so that we can place in some comparators and repeaters above that. Now facing into this block, we're going to place in a repeater like this and a comparator facing into that repeater like that. And now what we're going to do is repeat what we did over here on this fence gate as well. So remove this slab over here, lower it a little bit, place in some redstone dust, add in a block above that, and a slab like this. Then we're going to add in our blocks here, and on top of them we're going to add in a repeater and comparator like that. Next up, grab your droppers and hoppers, and what we're going to do is place a few of those down to create a loop. And to start off with, what you want to do is place down 1 dropper in this direction like this, place in a temporary block, place in another dropper, another temporary block, another dropper, and then a final temporary block like that. Then place in 1 dropper facing in this direction now, and we're going to place a temporary block off of that. And all of these temporary blocks over here are just to help us with the dropper placements. Then off of this, we're going to place 1 dropper facing back in this direction over here, and we're going to use our temporary blocks to build out. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to place down 1 dropper facing back in this direction, a temporary block off of that, and then 1 final dropper here facing back in the direction that all of these droppers are like this. Then go ahead and remove your temporary blocks, and now what we're going to do is place down some hoppers. And this is going to be relatively easy. All we have to do is place in our hoppers in the same direction that the droppers are facing. So go ahead and place in 1 hopper facing into that dropper and do the same all the way down the line like this. Then over here, make sure that this hopper turns. And then over here, we're going to add in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hoppers like that. And then for this final one, go ahead and make sure that your hopper turns once again back into this dropper so that it creates a chain loop like this. Then move over to the bottom right corner of our dropper loop over here and place in 1, 2, 3 blocks of that dropper there. Then go ahead and build out in this direction another 5 blocks. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now what we're going to do is add in some redstone on top of that. So go ahead and place down 1 repeater over here to start off with and set that to the maximum tick. So right click that 3 times like this. 1, 2, 3. And then what we're going to do is place down 1 redstone dust over here and make sure that our observer that we're going to place down is facing in the direction of that redstone dust. So if there's any changes, it will recognize that and release an output. Then what we're going to do is place down one piece of redstone dust over here and a sticky piston like that. And we're also going to place down a sticky piston over here. Then moving on, place in one normal block over here and one over here of both of those redstone dust pieces. Then add in 1, 2, 3, 4 top slabs like that, and place in one comparator like this and one comparator like that. Then what you want to do is place in one temporary block here and place in a hopper facing into that temporary block. Remove that temporary block and then place in a hopper facing into the original hopper so that we get a hopper clock. And then finally, last but not least, go ahead and grab a redstone block and place it down over here right beside that piston. Next up, grab your slabs, and what we're going to do is place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slabs on top of this long row of hoppers over here. Then grab some redstone, and what we're going to do is loop our redstone all the way on top of these droppers around here. So let's go ahead and place down redstone like this all the way across on top of our droppers up to this point like that. Next up, what we're going to do is move over to these fence gates over here and build what we did over there right in front of us, just with a couple adjustments. So remove this slab over here and place it in a little bit lower like that. Then place in a redstone dust piece on top of it. And behind that, what we're going to do is place in 1, 2, 3 normal blocks like this, and then place in an additional 2 like that. Then what we're going to do is place in one comparator here and a repeater off of that. And then place in 3 pieces of redstone like this to join up to that piece of redstone down there. Then next we're going to do the same thing over here as well. Remove this slab and lower it down by half a slab like that. Place in a redstone dust there. Then go ahead and place in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 normal blocks, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Then what we're going to do is place in one comparator over here like this, and then one repeater. And now what we're going to do is place in redstone all along our normal blocks like this so that it joins up with that redstone down there. And just like what we did over here, we're going to do the same thing for these fence gates as well. So to start off with, let's do this fence gate over here. So go ahead and remove this slab and place in the slab half a block lower and add in your redstone dust on top of that. Then go ahead and place in one normal block here and go ahead and build out another 1, 2, 3 like this. Then place in one more over here and place in a block like this on top of that corner block and a slab on top of that. And the reason we're doing that is just to make sure that our comparator signal output can be transferred without making a turn in our line. So place in a comparator here and then a redstone repeater here, and then place in 2 pieces of redstone like that. Then for this dropper over here, what we're going to do is do the exact same thing that we did down on that end. Remove our slab here, place in another one, add our redstone dust, and what we're going to do is join up this dropper with our normal blocks. So place in 1, 2, 3 normal blocks like that, and then add in an additional 2 like this. Then go ahead and place in your comparator, your repeater, and then join everything up with your redstone. Next up, come over to this final fence gate over here, remove our slab and place in another one with some redstone dust on top of it. Then go ahead and place in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 normal blocks like this, and then go ahead and join the normal blocks up with our dropper like I've done here. Then place in a comparator and repeater, and then join everything up once again with your redstone lining. And with that now being covered, our redstone circuitry is almost fully complete. All we have left to do is go ahead and add in some items into our hoppers just to make sure that everything is working. So to start off with, what you want to do is move over to this dropper over here and place in one random item like this, so that our chain of droppers is going to activate all of our fence gates. So as you can see, once you do that, our redstone line over here should turn on and turn on that fence gate over there. So that should be open. Then move over to our hopper clock over here and place in 45 random items into this hopper, and as you can see, that should start up our redstone system and everything should now be working. So every few seconds or so, as you can see, a redstone line will start to pulse and it will change every time and sequentially open each one of the fence gates. So as you can see, this redstone line will turn off in a short while. Hopefully we can see it in a second or two, and then it will activate that redstone line there as you just saw. And now our redstone is 100% complete, and all we have left between us and the end of today's tutorial is to build this huge shield which will protect the zombies from the sunlight when they're being transported through our copper farm over here. So let's go ahead and quickly construct that so that we can end off today's tutorial. And also for those of you guys which are wondering about this thing over here, like I mentioned previously, we're not going to be building it in today's tutorial because this part of the farm is completely optional and doesn't really affect your rates too much, because well, all it does is just redistribute the zombies from our spawning platform, but that can naturally be done by the zombies AI. So what you can do is, if you really want to build this like Tango did, you can just use the world download because it's present there. However, in the tutorial, because this tutorial is way too long, I'm not going to be showing you guys how to build it. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next part, which is building that shield over there. So go ahead and grab some slabs and some temporary blocks. So for us to build that barrier over there, what you want to do is make your way over to this glass block over here. And what you want to do is place in one temporary block on top of that glass block like that. And on top of our temporary block, go ahead and place in one slab like we've got here. Then remove our temporary block, and this is going to be the center point for that huge diamond shape over there. So from this block over here, what we're going to do is build out another 14 blocks in every single direction. So to start off with, let's build out in this direction. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then let's do this direction next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then go ahead and repeat that for these two sides as well. And then once you've gone ahead and done that to all four sides, you should get a shape like this, and it's in the form of a very large cross. Now what we're going to do is join each corner up together with some diagonals. So go from this point over here and build out diagonally like this to join up the 2 points together. And then what we're going to do is, as you can see, it should line up perfectly like that. And we're going to repeat that for all of the sides so that every single point is joined up to each other. And after you've gone ahead and joined up all of our points over here with the diagonals, go ahead and fill in everything in between with the slabs, just to act as a barrier to prevent any sunlight killing our zombies. And there we have it. I've gone ahead and filled in everything in between with our slabs, and as you can see, now we've got a fully filled in large diamond shape over here, which is acting as our barrier. Now all we have to do is extend out a little rectangle from this point over here over this tube, just to make sure that any zombies that are continuing down the line don't get killed by sunlight. So in order for us to create that large rectangle barrier over there, what you want to do is come over to this block right here. Notice how it's not that block there, right above our tube. Then what you want to do is go ahead and build out 20 blocks with our slabs. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And now what we're going to do is widen this a little bit to make it a little bit more protective. So in order for us to widen this properly, what we're going to do is build out 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in this direction like that. And now what we're going to do is connect up these slabs over here to our diamond shaped platform back here. So all you've got to do is go ahead and build out from that slab over there all the way to the point where you meet back with our platform, and go ahead and do that for all of our slabs. And unbelievably, once you've gone ahead and done all of that, it should look like this, and our tutorial is now 100% complete. We're fully done with our farm now, so let's go ahead and go over how to operate this farm if you want to use it by yourself in your worlds. And I'll try to make this as fast as possible because this is one really long tutorial. Even though I know I haven't edited it yet, I can just tell by the way that I've been recording this for so long that this is going to be one really long video. So I understand if you haven't watched the entirety of it, but you can always feel free to use our world download if you still want to use and make the farm yourself. Anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about how to operate the farm yourselves before we get way too distracted. And unbelievably, to operate this farm, all you have to do is use one single lever. And that lever is down here and is this lever right here. All you have to do is go ahead and flick this and the entire system turns on and your copper farm will start to work. Because what will happen is our zombies will be carried up over here into the chambers, drop down, and be collected into this killing chamber over here, where you can stand and just swing your sword, and hopefully after a while we'll start to see our drowns coming up and start to pile up in this killing chamber, where we can start collecting all their loot, including the copper. And hopefully now that I flicked on the lever and our zombies are now starting to enter our farm, we can see some drowns start to pile up like we've got over here. And then once they pile up, I can show you guys that all you have to do is simply hit them like this and they'll start to drop their loot. And eventually after some time, the drowns will start to pile up and you can collect loads and loads of copper just simply smacking your sword against their toes like this. And with this now shown to you guys, our farm is 100% complete. Because not only have I shown you guys how to build the farm, but I've also shown you guys how to operate it and also kill the zombies or drowns rather down here so that you can collect your copper. Speaking of which, for those of you guys which want to know about the rates for the copper drops of this farm, what I'll go ahead and do is leave those in the description and the title of this video over here so that you can see how much copper you guys can collect with the use of this farm in a single hour. And I've just realized I've made a mistake when constructing this farm, and what I'm going to do is show you guys that mistake right now so that we can fix it before moving on and finishing off today's tutorial. But don't worry, this is a very small mistake and it's over here with our creeper killing chamber design, because as you can see over here, instead of making the water flow in a turn, I accidentally made the water flow straight down. And this can easily be solved by moving this out one block in this direction, or just either removing this lava over here, placing in two glass blocks like this above our hopper, removing our hopper and chest like this, and then go ahead and place in one sign here and here, add in a lava bucket here, place in a glass block there, and then go ahead and place in your chest here with a hopper underneath that like this. And then your creeper killing chamber design has now been improved so that it works. So make sure you've gone ahead and made that change, otherwise the creepers will start to pile up because they won't be moving into the killing chamber. And now with that change implemented, the creepers will start to die in that lava over there and you can start to collect their loot. But with that now completed, our farm is fully done and we're ready to go ahead and move into today's outro for this tutorial video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial and also found it relatively useful. But with everything now done, that's going to be the end of today's video. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this one and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!